Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. Just got off work today, drove home. I'm sitting in my driveway, and I just found out about the passing of Reid Flair, the youngest son of Ric Flair. He was at the age of 25. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was the biggest fan of Reid Flair. The only thing that I honestly really remember about Reid Flair is that when he debuted for indie wrestling, they made it seem like such a big deal. It was like they really wanted everybody to pay attention to him and start his career off on the right foot. I remember it was him and David from WCW fame. We were in a tag team match. They were going up against some other WCW team from back in the day to give them some star power, but Rick was there to sort of walk Reid down the aisle and be like the manager of the Flairs. And even Hulk Hogan went there as a favor to Rick to be the special guest referee. It seemed like it was to be a really big deal. Yeah, I read about it a lot on the dirt sheets at the time. And then finally the match was put up on YouTube, and they just wrestled in some dump in the middle of nowhere. Reid has been all around the independent circuit. I know he's even wrestled in Japan. But this video is more about just other people in wrestling families. It seems like it's so hard for these guys to catch a break, that they're trying to live up to their family's legacy, I guess you can say. Out of all the guys that have really come out, Randy Orton is about the only guy who's really surpassed his father in that sort of fame and gone on to be a big star. Cody Rhodes, I think, is a good star today, but I think if you put him up against how big of a star Dusty was in the 80s, I don't even really know if he really compares yet, but I'm really hoping, I'm a fan of his, that he can really get there. A lot of these guys have just sort of, faded out. They've gone in and out of WWE. And, Ted DiBiase, I heard that he wrestled on a dark match the other day. I guess he's not going to try, going off to LA, or maybe it was just a one-time thing. I know he beat Swagger in a house show. He wasn't even dressed. He wore just basically street clothes, walked out and beat Swagger before he re-debuted and came back. I think that was back in December or something like that, but I don't know. The story that I read talked about, he got busted for heroin in 2009. They're not really saying that's what it was, but 25-year-olds don't really just drop dead in the middle of nowhere. But he's not the first guy from a wrestling family to have this happen to him. It's just too bad. Rick's got a daughter in developmental right now in FCW, and I hear good things about her. I hear more good things about how good she looks more than anything else, honestly. But it's just too bad for the Flair family. Rick's got a lot going on right now with a blood clot in his leg. He's got to get himself healthy and try to find a way to make himself a good living back in WWE or something like that. The one thing that I really heard about the Ric Flair accident more than anything else, it was on Observer Radio from Meltzer and Alvarez, was people like to say that this blood clot wasn't really that big of a deal, but they did fly him home to Charlotte right away for him to see his doctor. And if you're considering, what Rick is saying, that it's not that big of a deal, if all WWE needed him to do was to, get down in the ring, sit down, and ask one question that was just a few sentences. It wasn't even a few sentences. I can't really remember what Booker's question was, but it wasn't that great. Why wouldn't they, do it? He was already there. I think this might be a bigger deal than it is. I know that he tweeted out a picture of what his leg looks like. It looks pretty gross, and I'm glad it's not me, honestly. But my condolences out to the Flair family, and we can only see what happens from here. Peace out, everybody.